my colleagues from the ministry and from industry present here today, members of the IMC fraternity, and my friends from the media. What a wonderful occasion that we meet close to about 12 months down the road from convening IMC 2024. And as Abhijit said, we are now into the 9th edition of this conference. And the aim is that as India gains her rightful place in the polity of nations, conferences such as this bring about a great deal of exposure for industries domestically, for our manufacturers globally, for our investment community across the world, to see the capability that our country has garnered over the last decade, and how India today is leading the revolution in the telecommunications space across the world. Now, as I stand before you here today, I cannot but help go back in time and look back as an Indian with a great sense of pride. To the fact that India has never waited for the future to arrive. She has always shaped it. And if you go back in time, right from the days of Nalanda and Takshila, where global curriculum and global pedagogy was introduced from Bharat Mata's soil, where scholars across the world used to congregate at this Mecca of knowledge, to the unshakable quill of Aryabhatta's feather that came up with the ingenious concept of zero, to medical systems, solutions, and surgeries that were always pioneered in India, to the mapping of the stars that was done by India's astronomers while the rest of the world would only gaze at the sky. Our country and our nation and our soil has always built the scientific temper of the world. And therefore today, when we look at the giant leaps that we have taken over the last decade, whether it was the innovation of 2 vaccines during the period of COVID, and through Vaccine Maitri exporting it to 40 countries across the world, or whether it is our space missions, Vikram lander and others, at a fraction of international costs, or indeed what all of you in this room have achieved, one of the most robust telecommunication networks and systems across the world, cutting edge, customer oriented, service oriented. India today, ladies and gentlemen, is continuing on the path that she forged not a decade ago, not 100 years ago, but over 1,000 years ago, a thought leader, a science leader, and a social leader to create an equitable world from the North to the South Pole. And whilst we live in this environment, the concept of our theme launch this year, Innovate to Transform. As Secretary Saab said, is the very basis of the Prime Minister's concept of a Viksit Bharat by 2047. A Viksit Bharat by 2047 which is rooted in Atmanirbharta. Which is fueled by entrepreneurship. And which is driven by a fervor of inclusive growth. And in that environment, the transformation that India is going through today is systemic, is structural. Is systemic, is structural, but most importantly, is indigenous. And therefore, the topic today of our theme, Innovate to Transform, outlines, underlines, enunciates the concept that in this journey of transformation, innovation will always be the core of India's compass. Now, we have come a long way from an environment where penetration levels were very low, where consumption of data was sporadic, intermittent, vapor-like, where infrastructure and equipment was hard to come by. From that environment, we have grown today multifold. From being a consumer of 61 MB of data, today 21 GB of data per person. Probably the highest, close to the highest in the world. From being an importer of handsets and a domestic producer of only 50 million handsets, to being the second largest producer of mobile handsets at 330 million. From being a follower of technology to leapfrogging technology, and not only leapfrogging technology, but inventing technology. And today 5G in our country has, thanks to a lot of you seated in this room, has a penetration and a spread level of close to 99% of our districts 82% of our population. The fastest 5G rollout in the world. It is that capability that we as Indians have shown the world. And therefore, in this environment, where not only are we making this product and this service ubiquitous, but we're also ensuring the safety of our customers. Our private sector companies coming out with their kavachas to protect our customers from online fraud, from spam. DOT's Sanchar Sathi portal, which acts like a shield, which by itself has disconnected almost close to 3.4 crore fake mobile connections. Our job is to be a provider of services, but our job is also to protect every citizen as we transcend from the physical highway of roads to the informational and telecommunications digital highway, which today has become all-pervasive across the length and breadth of our country. And therefore today, it gives me great pleasure to inaugurate our concept of Sanchar Sathi. In the first phase, we rolled it out across 280 institutions. A thought that symbolizes India's leadership across 4 Ds: democracy, demography, digitization, and delivery. And the success of our pilot today has given us the confidence to roll this out on a nationwide basis, where each one of our partners, young men and young ladies, will take upon themselves the responsibility of educating, informing, safeguarding the interests of every single customer across the length and breadth of our system. As the Prime Minister has always said, this is a whole of government approach. This is a whole of our ecosystem approach. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a whole of nation approach. A whole of nation approach to safeguard the security, digital security of every single one of our citizens. And while we talk about opportunities such as this, innovation has to be at the core of our existence. It's as if you're running on a constant treadmill. If you look at economic curves on a graph, not looking at inflection points or changing the slope of a graph, but actually shifting the graph upwards. And that innovative capability today is there in India. And let me give you an example of that. Last year, at the combined IMC 2024 and WTSA that we were fortunate enough to host, and let me add, thanks to all of you and all of your efforts, when we worked as a whole of ecosystem approach, not only was it the first time that a WTSA was held in Asia, but it was the highest attended WTSA in the history of the ITU. We had delegates from 163 countries, ministry representatives from 150 countries, almost 3,500 delegates. And I recall at that WTSA when I met Rocky, a robotic dog. That would keep humans out of harm's way and do all the difficult and dangerous tasks that humans do. Well, guess what? A couple of months later, when the disastrous earthquake happened in Myanmar, Bharat ki Sena ne, the Indian Army, deployed our Sanjay, a mule, a multi-utility legged equipment that went in to save lives in Operation Brahma in Myanmar. A fully indigenous product from scratch. And so whether it is Sanjay or whether it is our own domestic 4G stack, we are only 4 countries in the world that produce telco equipment. 5 companies, 4 countries. And the Prime Minister made it his resolve that if BSNL is to graduate from 3G to 4G, it must be done on Atmanirbhar equipment. And so what has never been done before, beyond the realm of possibility, where you have CDOT, a government company, BSNL, a government company, Tejas, a private sector company, and an Indian SI in the form of system integrator in the form of TCS, all 4 come together and in a period of 22 months produce the first domestic 4G stack after eons for the world, and India becomes the 5th country in the world to produce its own telco stack. We're now rolling it out. I took a review today. We are at 93,450 towers that have been installed. Still have a long way to go, but we are on track. And that capability today is enshrined amongst all of us here. And this theme today, innovate to transform, will give us that capability. Not only to provide services in India, but to ensure that production also comes from India, to ensure that India becomes a hub for designing. So you have designing in India, you have solving in India, and you have scaling from India. DSS, design, solve, and scale. That has to be our chemical formula, ladies and gentlemen. In the days to come, I'm very confident. When I talk about the fact, as Secretary said, that we followed the world on 4G, we marched with the world on 5G, we lead the world in 6G. We're among the top 6 countries today that is filing for 6G patents. As we speak, our Bharat 6G Alliance is doing a yeoman's job. Private sector, public sector, entrepreneurs across the board. And I'm very confident that when the World Radio Communications Conference is held in 2027, when they decide which waves will go in for 6G, it is from now till then that our entrepreneurs, our companies, our innovators across the board must aspire to ensure that India leads that technology wave in the days to come. The topic today and the theme today, Innovate to Transform, takes off from our theme last year. And to remind you all, our theme last year is The Future is Now. And if that is the umbrella theme of last year, Innovate to Transform, that was the what? The future is now. This year's theme is the how. Innovate to transform. And I am very confident that as Steve Jobs says, and I quote, he said that it is innovation that distinguishes a leader from a follower, unquote. And I am very confident that my fraternity seated in this room, the millions outside this room that will congregate at IMC 2025, believe in not only imagined in India, but believe in engineered in India, and believe in the concept of powered by India. Today is a hallmark day where all of us together must lead that charge. And whilst we lead that charge, I have seen IMC evolve over the years. And it must be our goal that IMC must become the centripetal force of all expositions across the world based from India, out of India, for the world. Today is also a day where we have awarded many of our innovators, many of our entrepreneurs that have contributed tremendously to India being able to achieve her status today. They have been conferred the Pandit Deen Dayal Telecom Excellence Awards this year, and my heartiest congratulations to all of them. Because I believe that technology must always be a bridge and not a barrier. And the awardees today, in their own individual right, have been bridges across these spans for billions of Indians across the length and breadth of our country. My heartiest congratulations to all the awardees and my best wishes to all of you. Let's make it a success. IMC 2025, here we come. Dais with me, Secretary Telecom, Dr. Neeraj Mittalji, Additional Secretary in the Department of Telecom, Gulzar Natarajanji, Chairman, COAI,